Taylor Swift's The Life of a Showgirl has done the impossible. It's topping charts while dividing her fanbase more than ever before. The numbers look incredible. The album debuted at #1, shattered streaming records, and dominated headlines. But for many, this isn't a victory lap. It's a wake-up call. For the first time, Taylor's success feels disconnected from the people who helped her build it. Online, longtime fans are questioning her direction, saying the music feels hollow, the lyrics off-balance, and the persona behind it almost unrecognizable. Even those who stood by her through Reputation and Midnights say this era feels different, not bold, but confused.
Anybody's gonna remember anything from this Showgirl album aside from a few key sentences that are like the most unhinged. Because literally all of the songs sound the same. And this is the first album that she's written completely by herself.
The visuals promised elegance. The sound delivered chaos. Between the exaggerated showgirl aesthetic and the disjointed production, the project feels like a riddle that no one asked to solve. And for an artist who once prided herself on relatability, that's a dangerous shift. The backlash isn't coming from haters, it's coming from the same fans who once defended every creative choice she made. The comment sections and think pieces are flooded with the same sentiment. She's lost touch. But the first real spark that turned criticism into controversy began when fans realized one of her songs sounded a little too familiar. Shortly after the album dropped, comparisons began circulating online. Listeners noticed that Taylor's new track Wood sounds almost identical to I Want You Back by the Jackson 5. Same rhythm, same melody, same bounce. What started as a few viral TikToks quickly snowballed into a full-blown debate about plagiarism and creative integrity. And the irony wasn't lost on anyone, because Taylor herself once claimed songwriting credit from Olivia Rodrigo after Deja Vu borrowed from Cruel Summer. Now, the tables had turned. Fans were quick to point out the double standard. If Olivia had to give up publishing rights for being inspired, why doesn't Taylor face the same scrutiny when Wood mirrors an iconic Motown hit? The discussion became less about legalities and more about fairness. Has Taylor reached a point where her influence protects her from the same criticism she once handed out? For an artist known for fighting for her masters and creative ownership, this debate hit deeper than sound waves. It hit her credibility. The conversation wasn't about whether Taylor could write great songs, it was about whether she still respected the art of originality. But just when fans were ready to call her out, another pop star stepped in to defend her and accidentally made things worse. Charlie Puth uploaded a TikTok that seemed perfectly timed to the controversy. He explained that there are only 12 notes in Western music. With so few combinations, similarities are bound to happen. It was a logical defense until people listened again. Because Wood doesn't just share a few notes, it follows I Want You Back almost beat for beat. Puth's attempt to explain music theory sounded more like an excuse for mediocrity. And for many, it reinforced the idea that Taylor is insulated from accountability. The four-note threshold concept he described became a meme, used by fans to mock how defensive the industry can be when it comes to pop royalty. People weren't angry about the notes, they were angry about the imbalance. When smaller artists make similar mistakes, they get sued. When global icons do it, they get think pieces about how music overlaps. The exchange showed a side of the industry that fans rarely see, one where fame shapes the rules. And it raised a bigger question. If Taylor is now too big to be criticized, who does she still make music for? But the melody debate was only the beginning. The real outrage came when fans started analyzing her lyrics. Taylor Swift has always walked a fine line between clever and cringy, but this time, many think she fell straight into parody. Lyrics like Open My Thighs and New Heights of Manhood left fans stunned. Clips spread across social media, followed by disbelief and laughter. Critics called it a midlife crisis in music form. Fans said the lyrics sounded like they were written by AI, robotic, awkward, and detached from the emotional storytelling that once defined her. Even longtime supporters admitted it's hard to defend lines that feel this forced. Some believe she simplified her writing to appeal to a broader audience, especially after dating Travis Kelce. Others think she leaned too far into camp, forgetting the emotional intelligence that made her earlier work powerful. There's a difference between playful and shallow, and Showgirl blurs that line completely. The more fans dissected the lyrics, the more they realized how many of them referenced wealth, fame, or celebrity culture. The relatability that once made Taylor feel like one of us has been replaced by an energy that screams above us. And that disconnect only grew when fans realized the album's glamorous marketing had very little to do with the music inside. Before The Life of a Showgirl even dropped, the campaign looked flawless. Posters, teaser photos, and trailers promised vintage Hollywood, feathers, diamonds, and neon-lit glamour. But the sound? Completely different. Fans expected orchestral ballads and cinematic storytelling. What they got was overproduced pop, repetitive hooks, and tonal whiplash. It felt like two different albums stitched together. People online called the rollout misleading, saying the visuals promised elegance, but the music felt plastic. And the comparisons didn't stop there. Many noticed how closely the aesthetic mirrored Sabrina Carpenter's cheeky, modern showgirl vibe. From outfits to color palettes, the overlap was impossible to ignore. Fans began wondering whether Taylor was reinventing herself or just borrowing from what's trending. That question stung because Taylor was once the trendsetter, not the follower. For a generation that grew up seeing her control every detail of her brand, the lack of cohesion here felt foreign. And when the illusion broke, so did a bit of the trust. But one track stood out from the chaos, a song that seemed to drag a famous friendship into the spotlight. The song Cancelled immediately sparked theories. The lyrics paint a picture of a friend under fire, misunderstood, publicly criticized, but fiercely defended. Fans instantly linked it to Blake Lively's PR controversy during the It Ends With Us press tour. The timeline lined up too perfectly. Taylor wrote the album while touring Europe in 2024, the same months Blake faced backlash online. The references to loyalty, media spin, and loving someone through the noise made the theory believable. At first, it seemed sweet, a show of solidarity between friends. But the story didn't end there. After that era, Taylor and Blake stopped being seen together. Travis Kelce even unfollowed Ryan Reynolds, hinting at possible tension behind the scenes. Some fans believe Cancelled was written as support. Others think it was written to quietly distance herself. Taylor's songs have always blended autobiography with theater, and this one feels no different. Like she's telling a story only half the audience is supposed to understand. But if Cancelled stirred mild confusion, Opalite caused something much bigger, a full-scale cultural backlash. On paper, Opalite sounds harmless, a dreamy metaphor about finding light after darkness. But one lyric changed everything. Sleepless in the onyx night, but now the sky is Opalite. For many listeners, that line felt racially loaded. Travis Kelce's ex, Kayla Nicole, is a black woman, and describing onyx night as something dark she's moved past, replaced by Opalite, a white man-made stone, felt unsettling. Fans pointed out that Taylor has used color imagery before, but context matters. Coming from a white artist dating someone with a history of dating black women, the metaphor felt tone-deaf at best. On TikTok, black creators explained why the lyric came across as a microaggression, equating light with purity and dark with struggle.
There is a visual representation of why the song Opalite gives microaggression. So this is onyx. And this is Opalite. Yeah. So glad we had this talk.
But there's a verse on the song Opalite where she's referring to one of his last relationships, and I'm like, oh, maybe not doing that. Maybe not referring to a black woman that he used to date in absentia. You as the most famous pop star in the world who is also a thin, wealthy white woman. I just think that is a crazy metaphor to have in a song where you are obliquely referencing the black ex-partner of your current fiance.
Many allies agreed that even if the intention wasn't malicious, the optics were terrible. It reignited a bigger conversation about how pop stars often use racialized symbolism without realizing its implications. The result? Opalite went from potential hit to cultural flashpoint. And right when the dust was settling, Taylor's merch dropped, and things went from bad to catastrophic. The Showgirl merch rollout should have been harmless. Instead, it triggered one of the most serious controversies of Taylor's career. Fans were already irritated by the high prices, $95 shirts, $125 fur-trimmed tops, and sequin jackets that looked cheap in person. But the real disaster was the Opalite necklace. It featured 8 lightning bolts around a glowing gem, imagery meant to connect to the song. Except, those lightning bolts looked exactly like the SS symbols used by Nazi soldiers. And there were 8 of them, a number associated with 88, white supremacist shorthand for Heil Hitler.
You've never incorporated lightning bolts in your work before. Okay, and then we come down here, and that's an iron cross. An iron cross. And I think if the necklace itself was just a plain chain, then this would be fine. But it's not, and it is the sum of its parts, right? And so there are only 2 options here. Number 1, Swift's team and Swift herself, they put this out and they genuinely just didn't know what they were doing, and it's a complete happenstance that it resembles any commonly used Nazi dog whistles. And That tells me that there is not a single Jewish person on her team anywhere, that there is not a single person with cultural sensitivity training, that there's not a single person that's ever opened up a history book on her team, right? So that's option number one. Or option number two, which is she knows exactly what this is, and that is what she decided to put out.
Outrage spread instantly. Even if it was unintentional, how did something that offensive make it through production? A design like that passes through dozens of hands. Artists, marketers, executives. Not one person raised a flag. Fans called it tone deaf. Critics called it proof that Taylor's billion-dollar team lacks diversity and cultural awareness. The incident overshadowed the entire album cycle, and the conversation soon shifted from a bad design to a much bigger issue about who Taylor surrounds herself with. Every major artist has a creative team, but when teams get too big, too powerful, or too insulated, mistakes become inevitable. That's what fans believe happened here. A merch design resembling Nazi iconography should have been caught instantly. The fact that it wasn't suggests a deeper problem, a lack of diversity and perspective within Taylor's empire. This isn't new. Brands like H&M and American Eagle have faced similar scandals because their decision-makers all looked and thought the same way. When there's no one in the room to say, hey, this could be offensive, problems multiply. Even if Taylor never saw the necklace before it went on sale, her silence made it worse. Because when an artist builds a brand around empowerment and inclusion, avoiding accountability feels hypocritical. The issue isn't just the necklace, it's the pattern, how controversies keep passing through her system unchecked. For an artist who once micromanaged every detail of her brand, that absence of oversight feels alarming. But the final blow didn't come from the merch, it came from Taylor herself. And what she said next. When Taylor finally addressed the backlash, fans expected clarity. Instead, she said that if people didn't like the life of a showgirl, they probably just don't understand it. That single comment flipped the narrative completely. What could have been humility came across as arrogance. Critics accused her of gaslighting her own audience, implying that misunderstanding was the problem, not the music itself. Then came the viral Graham Norton Show clip. Louis Capaldi mentioned his upcoming EP, and Taylor appeared to mouth thanks to the host, as if cutting him off. Whether it was misread or not, it looked controlling. Another reminder that this era's energy feels defensive, not joyful. Combine that with endless variant releases, luxury merch, and tone-deaf interviews. And fans began saying the unthinkable. Maybe Taylor has finally lost her grip on the public. The album was meant to celebrate her evolution. Instead, it's exposing the fragility of fame. What happens when an artist becomes too big to hear criticism? The Life of a Showgirl may go down as one of Taylor Swift's most successful albums, and her most hated. Because sometimes, the bigger the spotlight, the more shadows it creates. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.